you want to see something cool? Let me explain. Hello, my fellow Tarnished, welcome one and all. So I am here, set up in my perfect bleed build. How perfect, you ask? Well, this is what it did to Melania. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, insane. I mean, I'll say it again, nutty cuckoo bananas. I'll link it down below, give it a watch. You're gonna be blown away. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I wanted to see how this build actually would work on a Mimic against bosses. I figure since it's melting them in seconds with me, I know the Mimic's weaker and tends to make a few stupid decisions, which to be fair, just puts it on par with me, so I guess we're all even there. I imagine it's probably gonna do quite well, so, you know, I ran into Melania's room and, well, gave it a summon, gave it a go, let it go blow for blow, and oh no. Yeah, it managed to get her to half health. You know, very suddenly, a little bit of burst at the end. It almost did it. It almost did it. But even this build in Mimic form could not handle Melania. But wait, what if there is a solution? So this then is Mohg's Great Rune. And it's a Great Rune that I feel like gets ignored a lot. A, because it's probably, you know, what does it even do? Like, it grants a blessing of blood to... Okay, I guess that's cool. Thanks. Thanks, Mohg. Yep, wonderful. But I don't blame anyone that's not really used it. I hadn't really used it until this investigation today. However, the buff that it applies also applies to any spirit summons you summon while, you know, a rune arc is active, while the Great Rune is active. It does have an effect for invasions and is generally tailored towards being a PvP Great Rune, but honestly, its effect in your own world in single player is much more potent. And I'm here to, well, tell you exactly why. But to show you initially then, this is my Mimic with this build, and the only difference is I have summoned him with Mohg's Great Rune active. Enjoy. So not only did he now dominate phase 1, he did it in, what, like 30 seconds? Compared to what you saw before, which was dying around getting it to half health. Yeah, that's an improvement and a half, isn't it? So what exactly is going on here? Well, when you summon a spirit with this Great Rune active, you will give it a Blessing of Blood. What that Blessing of Blood will do is chiefly two things, at least two confirmed things. I am of the opinion that it just generally gives them an increase in strength. It really feels like that's the case, but I will admit that that's just for the most part hearsay, and I would hate to put across anything you might object to. So, this then definitively makes it so a spirit summoned with it will heal you for 10% of your max health whenever it kills something. So, if you're ever in a place where you're fighting a bunch of enemies in a level and you get your spirit ashes and it's buffed by this, then you'll get a constant supply of health, and that's really, really awesome. But it's not really the main effect here.
Did I do good?
I mean, you missed one. The main effect is it will give these summons a 20% damage boost, which stacks on top of every other damage boost they might have in a very potent way. But that damage boost isn't just passive and always on. A spirit summon under this rune has a kind of like red fog about them. But if any blood loss happens, either caused by them or in the vicinity, much like the talisman, well then they will get the surge of red lines and do 20% more damage. So in case of the Mimic who has the Bloodlord's talisman on, it stacks with that. So basically you're seeing this super blood buffed enhanced Mimic gaining even more astronomical amounts of damage when it does bleed Malenia, and then that just snowballs into utterly destroying her. Which is really, really cool, right? And it's not just like this is only relevant to a Mimic with a bleed build, or indeed one of the few naturally bleeding spirit summons like the Imps. No, as I said, it gets the buff if bleed happens in the area. So if you yourself are using a bleed build, well then you can summon any Spirit Ashes, and as soon as you get your first bleed proc, they will get a 20% damage boost. And as there's very few ways to make spirits do more damage because they already do a lot of damage, this is an incredibly potent effect. So if we want to roll out good old Black Knife Tiche, then yeah, we can summon her and then use our own blood build and then keep giving her these 20% damage bonuses. And the duration of this buff is literally infinite until the summon dies, so you don't have to worry about timing it or anything like that. Obviously, Tiche's damage is all from the Destined Death, so giving her a 20% damage bump for her melee attacks isn't the greatest effect, but you get what I'm trying to convey here. And it really is a potent effect. Obviously, it's a strong build to begin with, so it's a strong Mimic to begin with, but this is a really useful way to get the most out of your Spirit Summons. The Spirit Summon cannot solo Godfrey without this, but as soon as you give it Mohg's Great Rune, give it that little amp, it can comfortably solo Godfrey, and I mean, at the very end here, it suddenly bursts for 8,000 damage, which is just hilarious. Oh, so basically, I just wanted to get across that, hey, maybe don't ignore Mohg's Great Runes. It might be niche, it might be blood related, but when it comes to Spirit Summons, it's a really potent way to give them that edge and make them even more deadly. And yes, it does affect invasions. You arrive, you get a item, you get 3 of them, a bit of Phantom Great Rune, and when you use this item, all of the random enemies on the level in a huge area around you get this blood boost, which means if you're then invading with a blood build, you will boost all of the enemies on the level by 20% more damage, which is fun, right? It's neat, it's not like it's crazy. I feel like you'd have to be invading in an area with very already powerful enemies to make this tip the scales, but at least it's quite amusing. And it also means if any of them do get kills, you do get a heal, but the only kills they would get is on the people you're invading anyway, so it just seems weirdly thought out when it comes to invasions, and it's why I really kind of think that it just generally makes things with the buff stronger, otherwise it feels really too weak in invasions. But in any case, if you are using a bleed build, or your summon is capable of bleeding, consider Mohg's Great Rune, because it will be massively more powerful. And of course, in case you don't know, Mohg's Great Rune's obviously from killing Mohg in the Blood Palace, and it is this divine tower that you activated into an actual usable Great Rune. I hope you've enjoyed this. Like if you indeed have, subscribe for more, and consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below. Until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.